Connection available. Okay, hopefully this is working. It says connection available. Well, it's Michelle Caswell, and it is Purely His. It says live now, so I'm hoping, again, I'm using my daughter's phone for a different reason this week. How's everybody doing? Hey, Jocelyn, I see you watching. Nobody can watch this without me knowing it. I'll see everyone who's watching. It's pretty cool. Hey, Shannon. Good to see you on here. My house is nice and quiet. Let's hope it stays that way while I'm doing a live video. I missed you guys the last 2 weeks. I didn't do one last weekend. I was busy and wasn't able to. I'm pretty sure I had my grandson's last Friday, so I wasn't able to do it. And the week before I was in New York, and so Cammie and Shannon did that one, which was awesome. Hunter said, hey, Gma, are you coming to my house? I would like to, Hunter, but I can't right now because I'm busy doing this video. But I might see you tomorrow, actually. I'll be in town. Hey, Larry. See you watching. I actually really like doing these live videos. I like to connect with you guys this way. I wish there was a way of not just seeing your faces like this, but a way of like interacting where you could actually talk back to me. I know it's cool to have typing and stuff, but anyways, it's just a cool thing that we can do this type of technology and interact with people all over the city and the state and the country and even other countries, which I'll get into that later. It's part of my message tonight. Well, I've been having something stirring like in my heart, and there was actually 2 things that were stirring in my heart, and I was thinking like, oh, that's 2 messages. I could do that one this Friday and that one like the next Friday, and I was going to kind of take it a different way. But the Lord was showing me like yesterday how I could take these 2 messages and actually put them into one message, and it would be more powerful because it's 2 examples of things that He has been trying to show me lately. And so I always think like if He's trying to show me something, you know, I bet He might be trying to show you something very similar. So I like to share those things like real time. But I wanted to talk about a couple of events that we have coming up. So if you are in the Medford, area or Wairika area, anything surrounding that, we are having a Purely His Christmas party next Friday, which is the 13th. Yes, it is Friday the 13th. We are redeeming that date for the honor of Jesus Christ. So yeah, no longer would be considered like a Freddy Krueger holiday. It'll be a holiday where we celebrate Jesus. And so anyways, but the Christmas party is next Friday the 13th in Medford at the New Life Church, and it will be from 6 to 8. It is a potluck, and so we can all bring stuff and eat together and just have fun and fellowship. It's going to be really casual, partly because I don't have a ton of time to put into it because we have the Unmasquerade coming up, and so, but we still want to get together. We've been doing the Christmas party every year for like, I think 6 years now. And so we really want to get together. So anyone who's in the area, please come to that. It's from 6 to 8 next Friday night. And then right after that, just 2 weeks after-ish, we're having the Unmasquerade. And I'm super excited about it. It is a huge leap of faith for me to do such a huge event with how much it's going to cost and stuff. But it is going to be amazing. So the Unmasquerade will be New Year's Eve, which is December 31st. It'll be from 6:30 p.m. till 12:30 a.m. And it's going to be a catered dinner, a DJ dancing. It's going to have just a blast. We're all going to get dressed up. I mean, you can dress up if you want. It is black tie optional. I will be doing black tie. I'm super excited. And the masks and everything. And the reason why we call it the Unmasquerade is, first of all, we do want to get super dressed up, but the Unmasquerade comes into play because Purely His, we're always talking about drop your mask and keep it real. So we will be having some people go on stage and share just small parts of their testimony, but powerful parts. I'm excited about the people that we have sharing. Anyways, but at that time, they're going to say, and this is for those of you who can't come, but they're going to say something along the lines of like, okay, now I'm going to drop my mask and keep it real. And then they're going to share a part of their story. And so really excited about about that. It is only $40 per ticket. And if you can't come, but you have some extra money lying around and you want to help somebody else to be able to go who can't afford it, we do have a scholarship, or I guess we're calling it a sponsorship. You can sponsor this event, and all the money that comes in through the sponsors, up to like enough for 100 tickets, all that's going to go towards tickets that I can give away to people who can't afford it. We have single moms, we have people who are just coming, into recovery, we have people who just plain cannot afford it. And our goal is to give away 100 free tickets. Out of the 250 tickets that are available, we want to give away 100. So if you have $40 or $80 or $200, anything that you can put towards this event, it is going to go to help people. And it is going to be an incredible clean and sober event with Christian music playing, but we're going to show people how Christianity can be awesome. We can show them how you can still dance, you can still have fun, and you don't need to get intoxicated to do it, and you don't need to leave ashamed to do it. So we're going to end the year clean and sober, and we're going to start the year clean and sober together. So I'm really excited about it. If you want more information about the Christmas party or the Unmasquerade, go to our event section on Purely His, which you're on right now, and there's more information on there, information about tickets and all that stuff. And if you have any questions, just message us on Facebook and we will let you know. There's also the Purely His number that you can call and we'll give you more information. Let me see what people said. Hey, Darlene. Hey, Vanessa. I see you. Hi, Daisy. Oh, Larry says he's got to watch the Ducks game. No problem. Sometimes the Ducks are really important. You can always watch the replay. That's the cool thing about these live videos is they are recorded. Well, I have been really busy lately. I have been purposely busy going around and sharing my story in the recovery community because that's part of what I have felt called to do as I've been thinking about the Unmasquerade coming up. That's not the only people that we are promoting this to. We're promoting this to everyone. Like, you don't have to have addiction in your past to come to the Unmasquerade. But I just really felt like that was my circle of influence, and that's where God wanted me to reach out to. So I have spoke at 3 Celebrate Recovery groups in the last 3 or 4 weeks, which has been a blast. I've been loving that. And even last night, I got 2 more speaking engagements out of last night. And so that was awesome. And I've just been going around sharing my story and encouraging people and giving them a specific word from the Lord that I felt was for that group. And then I also invited them to the Unmasquerade. So really excited about, what's going to come up out of this. I've been going around planting seeds, so now I just need the Lord to water it and bring the increase, and we'll see what happens. So it's exciting. But something that the Lord has been putting on my heart lately is our perspective of things. A lot of times we look at certain situations and we really get built in our mind oh, that's what that is. I know what that is. That is this. This is supposed to look like this, and if it doesn't look like this, then it's wrong or whatever. But we look at certain situations and we just get really locked in on what we think that situation is or what we think that situation means. And so I'm going to give you a couple of examples of things that, a little further back in my past and something that just recently happened, and to show you that sometimes we look at situations in the wrong way. Sometimes we are wrong. And when we have that wrong thinking, when we, basically are looking at something and believing a lie about it, it really can keep us stuck. And so I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and I want to see if somehow that will stir in you maybe a situation that you're currently in that you might have the wrong perspective of. You might not be looking at that correctly. And so I'm going to share these with you. So one thing that happened is about approximately 8 years ago. So I had just started dating Matt, and I went to a women's retreat, and I actually didn't want to go. I don't usually like women's retreats. I don't like bridal showers and baby showers and all that kind of stuff. I usually just don't like, women's functions. So call me strange, but I just don't. So I was kind of reluctantly going, but I was like, oh, well, at least I'll just go there to serve. I can serve. And so I actually got to help lead a lady to the Lord that weekend. But I really wasn't feeling like I was getting anything like out of it for myself. And so I started asking the Lord, like, Lord, is there anything else you want to like, teach me? Or is there something like, do you have a word for me? Like, is it? And I waited like all weekend. It was like Friday, nothing. Saturday, nothing. Sunday morning, I'm like, nothing. And so it's like we're almost getting ready to leave, and then there was like this last session. And the last session of this women's retreat, we were going through the songs and singing, and you know how they normally do 3 songs and then a message and then prayer. So it was like the 3rd song, and it was that song by Natalie Grant called, I just looked it up. Oh, Your Great Name. I couldn't remember the name before I got on here, but Natalie Grant, Your Great Name. And so we're singing, and I'm so into it. I'm like, they're going through like the names of God, and it's like, let's see, what was it? It's like, you're my Redeemer, my Healer, Lord Almighty, and then it's like Defender, and as I'm going along, I am so believing it, like with everything in me, I am like passionately like worshiping God and believing every single word. And then when it got to Defender, my hands were up, and it was like, Defender, and as soon as I said it, I went, I don't believe that. I know it's true, Lord. I know that you are my defender, but I cannot sing that with integrity and say that I actually believe it. And I was like, whoa, that's not how I wanted to get a word from the Lord. That was not what I was looking for. But the Lord showed me in that moment that I had unbelief in the area of believing that he was my defender. And so I actually went on a walk after that, and I went like up to this like cliff and just by myself, and I started getting like mad. I was like, okay, Lord, I know that you're my defender, but I don't believe that. Why don't I believe it? Because you didn't defend me when I was molested. You didn't defend me when I was raped. You didn't defend me from my husband who was beating me up. You didn't defend me, when my parents got divorced. And I started going through the list. And I was feeling like this anger like coming up in me. I didn't even know it was still there. Like I knew I had anger in the past towards God, but I didn't know I still had it until that trigger got hit in that song. So anyways, so I really started working through that with the Lord, and I didn't work through it all the way while I was there, but what he started to show me, so it's like he let me like do my thing and say the stuff I was mad at and tell him why and tell him I didn't understand. And then I asked him at the end of that, it's like, show me how you're my defender, because I know it's true, but I cannot see it. I can't feel it. I can see it for other people. I cannot see it for myself. And so anyways, what he showed me is he had me look at the exact same situation, and he went like this. He turned it, and he had me look at it differently. And he had me look at it through his eyes. And what he did is he showed me that he defended me by going on the cross for me. He defended me by not making me pay for my own sins. He was like, nope, let me defend her. I'm going to get on the cross for her sins. I'm going to pay for every single one of her sins. And, her sins that she, when she's even asking for forgiveness, it's like, I'm going to even forgive her for all the sins of her whole entire life before she ever even knows who I am. I'm going to defend her. And so he showed me that he defended me by dying on the cross for my sins, for all of them. And the second thing he showed me is that every time Satan goes before the Father to accuse me of different things that I've done or whatever, Jesus immediately steps in front of him and defends me once again in front of the Father and says, no, I've already forgiven her. I already died for her. She's straight. And so it was like, wow, he didn't spare me from being raped. He didn't spare me from being abused, but he did spare me from eternal separation from him. He did spare me from the shame that I would have experienced for my whole life by not being able to be forgiven, by him. He did spare me from having to go through the excruciating pain of dying on a cross. It's like he defended me for so many things. So he defended me on the cross, and he defends me every time the enemy goes in front of the Father to accuse me. And so I really got a wake-up call with that, because in my mind, what a defender is you protect me from never getting hurt, and you beat people up who try to beat me up, or you kill them, you strike them down with lightning. People say that, like, strike them down with lightning, Lord. But that was my picture, like if you're a defender, then you're a tough guy, and you hurt people on my behalf, and you don't let anyone hurt me, so you protect me from all of that. And that has obviously not been the story of my life. And so, but anyways, that was so eye-opening. It was like that truth set me free. Now I know that God is my defender. It's just not in the way that I thought it was going to be. So that's one situation that's from my past about 8 years ago. Another situation that is something I've actually been going through for like the last 6 years-ish is, God gave me a vision of Purely His, 13 and a half years ago, and he showed me that it was going to be a worldwide ministry. So I stepped out in faith 6.5 years ago and started this discipleship movement. I said yes, and I was like, okay, Lord, let's do this. And we started becoming a corporation, and we got a website and Facebook, and I started getting out there and promoting it and all this. And so that was 6.5 years ago. Well, over the 6.5 years, I have gotten upset a few times. And more recently, I've really gotten upset. Like, am I missing it? Am I not doing this right? What the heck is taking so long? I don't understand. 6.5 years, toiling and pushing and just doing everything I can and going without in a lot of areas of my life. And, but just like, okay, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I have the vision, God's not going to give me a vision and then not provide for it. But it's like, oh my gosh, it just seems to be taking so long to get to the worldwide vision. And I have a picture in my head of what the worldwide vision looks like. The worldwide vision is, me speaking on stages in front of 20,000 people. It's people getting saved. It's all these groups, like, all over the place, just reproducing in every single state, every city, and every country. It's us having all of our curriculum translated in all these different languages, and people all over the place are getting unstuck and going all in with Jesus. And it is huge. And with that, there are the finances that go with that. So it's us being able to pay all of our bills. It's us being able to pay somebody's rent for a year who really, really needs a fresh start. It's us being able to buy a single mom a car because we have the money. It's all that stuff. It's not what I currently see in our ministry. And so I have been frustrated and felt like giving up a few times, because I'm like, this is not happening. I don't know how much longer it's going to take. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't feel like I have what it takes to make it happen. I know it's a move of God that is needed, but it's just not happening the way I see it in my mind. So then I had a conversation with him. My husband and I spoke with another guy and his wife. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, but we had an hour and a half long conversation with a couple, and I was going to them for advice. They are in a place that I dream of being, and I was like, I need help, I need advice, I need wisdom. So I went to them with all these questions, and he gave me like tons of advice, 2 pages worth of notes I was taking. I'm like, gosh, why didn't I record the conversation? It was such good stuff. But anyways, as he was talking, he's saying all this stuff, and then he says, I was like, I just don't understand why the worldwide vision isn't happening. Yes, I'm 6.5 years in with Purely His, but I'm 13.5 years after the first vision, and I've been doing a lot of stuff towards this all these years, and I just don't know what's happening. And he said, Michelle, he goes, you already are a worldwide ministry. He's like, the second you had your website go live and the second you started social media, you were immediately a worldwide ministry. And then he just went on, and he went on to all these other things. And I was like, my jaw was like dropped. I was like, out of everything he said, that's what stuck out to me. That was the truth I needed to set my wrong thinking free, because I had a certain picture, but I've already accomplished it. I'm like, literally, I am a worldwide ministry. Purely His is a worldwide ministry. We have access right now through social media to reach the entire world. And I have been striving for something I already possess. And if you look at like our Christian life, like especially like, let's just take like the area of like low self-esteem, like, or our identity. And we're like, I just don't feel, good enough. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel loved. And if we really knew the truth about our identity in Christ, if we really knew like how God actually thought about us and actually embraced that truth, wow, would our lives change? It is the truth that sets us free. And sometimes we need to hear the truth from other people. And if we're willing to learn, if we're willing to take advice, if we're willing to go to people and humble ourselves and go, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. I don't know if I need encouragement or wisdom or direction. I don't know what it is that I need, but I need help. And when we do that, and we open ourselves up to growing, and we open ourselves up to learning some new truths, like our whole lives can change. I have felt like ever since I got off that phone call with him and had that new truth stuck in my head, I can't say like all of my anxiousness has gone away. I can't say all of my striving has gone away, or all of my questions like, is there anything else I should be doing or could be doing? I'm not saying it's all completely gone, but I tell you what, I have a different peace inside of me. And I am thinking about things in a lot like more of a different way. And the scripture that came to me concerning these two things that I went through, the past, learning about God and how He really is my defender, and learning that Purely His already is a worldwide ministry. The scripture that came to me is Isaiah 55, 8 through 9, and it says, "For my this is God talking to us. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." God has a totally different way of looking at us and our world, and people who aren't saved, and people who are, caught in addiction or caught in bad marriages or whatever. God has a very different way of looking at those situations. And sometimes it's like, we're not to be leaning on our own understanding, because when we lean on our own understanding, we get stuck for a really long time. But if we will take these things that we feel so like, nope, this is what it is, and this is what it's supposed to be, and this is the picture. But if we actually just really live a surrendered life and take those thoughts to the Lord and say, but what do you think about this, Lord? I need some wisdom here. I need to know how you look at this situation. How do you look at this song? Why am I struggling with not thinking you're my defender? Or how do you look at this ministry, Lord? Or how do you look at me? Or how do you look at my husband or my marriage or my family? Or how do you look at my future? Or how do you look at my past sins? Whatever it is for you, I encourage you to take whatever that is and take it to the Lord and say, Lord, what do you think about this? Because I need a different perspective. I have a feeling I might not be looking at this the right way, and I would like to see this through your eyes, or I'd like to see this person through your eyes, or this situation through your eyes, because your ways are higher than mine, and your thoughts are higher than mine, like as high as the heavens are from the earth. That's a really big gap. And so, I hope that what I have just recently discovered will somehow help you and encourage you, because having wrong thinking, or basically believing a lie, is going to keep you stuck for a lot longer than what you would like. So I would encourage you to take whatever those things are and ask God for His eyes. And you can even say, like, Lord, give me your eyes. Like, help me to see the way you see. Help me to hear the way that you hear. Help me to feel the way that you feel. Like, I need your perspective. And He'll totally give it to you. He's very clear about somebody coming to Him and asking Him for wisdom. I put it in my notes here. It says, so James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So you can literally just ask him for wisdom on whatever situation and he will give it to you. In fact, he'll give it to you generously. So I want to encourage you to take whatever that situation is that you're needing clarity on, or that you're really feeling stuck and you have a feeling based on what we're talking about right now that you might have the wrong perspective. You may not have a godly perspective. So take that thing, hand it to the Lord, and ask him for his eyes, and ask him to give you his perception. And sometimes it's going to sting, like that one where we talked about, him not being my defender. That stung a little bit. That's not how I wanted to receive the truth, but I needed to receive it because I was really stuck there. And so, but this one recently about learning that we already are a worldwide ministry, that made me I took a deep breath. I was okay, I have done it. It may not be the full picture of what I thought, but I really have already accomplished it. And so if I can just relax in that, maybe I'll be a little bit more, effective in what I've been doing instead of striving so much to get to this picture that, he gave me some of the pictures, but some of the pictures I kind of made up in my own mind. So anyways, I love Jesus, and I love how he never stops healing us. We can continue to get healing, and there comes a point where you pretty much get all the healing for your past. But as you're going forward, that doesn't mean that you can't grow some more. It doesn't mean that you can't, get more wisdom or more knowledge or get closer to the Lord. So just always be open to growing. Always be open to healing if that's what you need. And learn to live a life where you're literally all in with Jesus, which just means live a surrendered life. Don't hold anything back. Give it all to him, and he'll empower you to do whatever it is that he's called you to do. So anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys if there's something question you'd like to ask, or a comment that you have. I am sitting around waiting for a phone call from my son, who is supposed to get out of jail today. It has been almost 3 months, and we were scared that he was facing prison time. It doesn't look like that's the way it's going, which is awesome. So yeah, I have not seen him in almost 3 months, so I'm really hoping that phone call comes in here pretty soon and I'm able to see him. I won't see him till tomorrow, but yeah, thank you for all of you who have been praying for him. And if you didn't know what I was talking about and you're just now finding out, please pray for Jordan, because he's going to have a long road ahead of him now. And those of you who are on my personal page will know that my husband had surgery this morning on his mouth. Poor guy, he's sleeping right now, and he's going to be hurting when he wakes up. So prayers for Matt for a quick healing. All right. Well, like I said in the beginning, we have some events coming up. Christmas party this next Friday in Medford. Check our event page for that. And also the Unmasquerade on New Year's Eve. Check the event page for that. And please sponsor somebody to go if you're not able to. Or even if you are able to, if you can afford an extra 20, 40 bucks, whatever, that would be awesome if you could donate to that so that more people can go who really could use it. So anyways, well, thank you everyone for tuning in, whether you're on here live or whether you're watching the replay. And the more you share our videos, the more people get encouraged, the more people get unstuck, and the more people make the choice to go all in with Jesus. So let's all do our part in this discipleship movement, and let's do it together. So now that we are a worldwide ministry, so share it to somebody in another country. That'd be awesome. But anyways, so thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm excited to be just a part of the body of Christ and have a family that is going to be with me for all of eternity. And if you don't know if you're going to be with me for all of eternity and you want someone to pray for you in that area, let us know. We would love to pray for you, and we can even have somebody call you if needed, or we could just pray with you over messaging. So message the Purely His page if you want that kind of prayer. So God bless you and have an awesome night and weekend. It's always hard to shut these things off. Okay, trying to sign off here. Bye.